Alright guys, quick intro before we start. This is a Pokémon Sword Nuzlock. If you haven't heard of a Nuzlock before, they're just basically a harder Pokemon game where you can lose. I played with a few common rules where you have to catch the first Pokemon in each route, but I have species clause, so if it's a Pokemon I already have, I can get another encounter. They have to be nicknamed to make you more attached to them, and if a Pokemon dies it goes into the death box where it can't be used, and if I white out I lose. Alright guys, this is my first ever Nuzlock attempt and I've skipped through just the rival and gym battle so that the video doesn't go too long. I do hope you enjoy this video. Alrighty guys, so the first battle with Hop is nothing special here. We lead with Funky the Grookey and he leads with his Wooloo. This battle was actually designed to win, so it's pretty straightforward. We just scratch the Wooloo until he faints, which will give us a level up, making us a level 6. And then after you hit level 6, you learn Branch Poke, and then you just Branch Poke the Sobble until he faints. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple battle overall. First gen where they actually designed the fight for you to not be able to lose. Second battle with Hop goes a bit different. I choose to lead with Chubster. I also taught Pokemon Payback, which hits twice as hard if they hit me before I hit them. It works perfectly against the Wooloo, with Chubster being slower and being able to get the double damage against the Wooloo. It looks like... he leads with his Sobble. It looks like if I had more health, it would work with the Sobble. It looks like it might actually work still. I was not expecting the Sobble to be able to hit me that hard. So he forced me to swap into Funky. With Funky, I get an attack drop once, and then I get a second attack drop. So from there I'm hitting at half strength, but it's still enough to finish off the Sobble who has his defense drop once. He brings in his Rookity, which forces me to swap. I swap into my own Rookity, which is called Lunge, and I use the same strategy as I did with the Wooloo. So he pecks me, and I pay back him. So a pretty easy battle overall. Alright, so I found an Oddish here, and this is my first time finding an Oddish at this low level in the new gens, and I didn't actually know that Oddish could learn a poison type move this low, so he beats Funky. So that is my first loss for this game, and it just happened to be my starter in the first wild encounter. Alright, so this fight against Hop had no real strategy, I just kind of winged it as I went. Hop at early game isn't really a problem. It's pretty straightforward, so I just swap to counters and the battle goes pretty easy. Now next up is our first encounter with Bede. The good thing about Bede is that I had the same plan for every battle of his. I throw out Hermie and I just spam Fury Cutter, which gets harder every time it hits, and all his Pokemon bar one are weak to Fury Cutter. Overall, Bede is kind of a pushover. you have the right Pokemon. Now this was one of my probably baddest mistakes here. I'm fighting Butterfree with Timber and I thought it might have had a flying move, but I had good defense. I did not know that Butterfree can actually learn like psychic type moves. Easy mistake. Now our first gyms was kind of a pushover here. So Milo doesn't really have anything to offer in his fight against Hermie. Just Hermie's typing and that, it just doesn't really give him much of a chance, leaving Hermie to do a clean sweep with just a couple Flutterbys. This one here is a bit odd because I'm still now watching it. I'm not fully sure how he killed. I'm like a bit surprised. I had buffed up defense and it's just taken the risk that didn't need to be taken really. Now we actually have another hot battle and once again hot poses no threat. It was a pretty easy battle overall. I used Drainer on Wooloo. And then he had a Corn Sky, so I swapped to Hermie. Hermie just smacked down a couple times until the Corn Sky died. To which I then will swap back to Drainer, who is a big counter for his Drizzle. And then Drizzle gets one shot by Drainer to follow. Pretty easy fight so far, Hop. He hasn't really had too much to bother me. I don't know if I didn't one shot him. My bad, guys. Now, on to our second gym battle with Nessa. By now, I think you can see my strategy here. Nessa leads water types, and I have Drainer, a Vileplume with Petal Blizzard. It's not gonna be a hard fight. I lead Drainer, they lead Goldeen, and then I Petal Blizzard the Goldeen to one-shot it. She then brings out Arrokuda, and I Dynamax this turn so that my grassy terrain can kick in to power up my grass attack the following turn. The Arrokuda is faster and gets the hit still, but it's not too bad, we have a lot of health and the terrain will heal us. She brings out her Dreadnought. Dreadnought's actually a cool Pokemon. I did enjoy Dreadnought. I do love the turtle Pokemon. My Torterra is my favourite. But Dreadnought has one weakness in particular, and that is a ×4 weakness to grass, making him very weak to max overgrowth. So there's Nessa, down without much of a problem. Following this battle, we actually have another battle against Bede. And Bede gets swept by a Hermie spamming Fury Cutter once again. By now, Hermie is one of my main team members and just has so much use that I enjoy. I do enjoy Dwebble. I've used him through one other playthrough that's not a Nuzlock. Alright, so here's our first Marnie battle. Now, I wasn't really sure what I was expecting here, but I thought I'd lead with Hermie and try a Fury Cutter sweep. After the Crogun hits me with that revenge, I realised that there is no way a Fury Cutter sweep is going to work here, so I swapped to Drainer. Drainer hits a weak revenge, gets hit by a weak revenge, and then Moonblast the Crogun. Drainer then Moonblast the Scraggy to one-shot it. And then she brings out her signature Pokemon, a Pokemon. I Moonblast it until it dies. Easy Marnie battle. Alright, next up is our third gym Kabu, and I actually had a strategy for this. Knowing that his ace is a fire bug type, I lead with Hermie decide to lead with Hermie to set up the Stealth Rocks. If you don't know, Stealth Rocks does a 16th of the damage, health and damage. If you're super effective, it does a quarter. But a bug fire type is double weak to rock, meaning he'll instantly lose half of his health. This was the problem here. I did not expect to be caught in a burn, and Hermie was losing so much health. So I heal stalled to make sure I didn't lose Hermie. I know it's not the most interesting part, but I just didn't want to lose Hermie at this point. He was too valuable. And then when I was finally free, I swapped to my Sweeper. Which by now, you can see I keep trying to swap to them. It does take a long time, and I seem to be trapped in this fire spin for as long as I can remember. But there we go, I'm finally free from the fire spin, and in comes Ragefish. Ragefish had nothing that could be of a problem to him. He easily swept through with just his water moves without really any trouble at all, making this gym pretty easy. Anyway, by now, you're probably thinking I would have learned from my mistakes. You're probably thinking, there's not much else this dude could really do. And let me tell you this. By the end of this video, I think you'll notice I don't learn from my mistakes. So I swap the Sparky gets brought out, and I do a Paralyze because I thought, why not? I think about swapping, but I make a decision to try and attack. He revenges me and kills me one hit. I did not think that would kill, and I still don't think I should have died there. This is our first hot battle that actually had some difficulty. He leads with this duck, and I leave a pants guy, trying to give him a shot. It was a very bad matchup to start with. It was a very bad choice of my lead. I swap to Frill, who gets hit by a pretty hard Fury attack. But I have Parabolic Charge. I almost die there to a not very effective move, but Parabolic Charge almost kills him and brings me all the way back up in health. I tried for a quick kill, but he healed. Me letting him hit me once again. But I heal back most of that damage. And then after that, he brings out his Cobra, and I bring out Rage Fish. If you couldn't guess, Rage Fish destroys this Cobra. He brings out a Toxel, and I decide to swap back to Frill to get the ×4 ground attack on him. He lowers my attack. And I bulldoze him twice to kill him. The attack drop there would have saved his life from in one shot, I reckon. And then he brings out Drizzle. Now Drizzle's weak to electric, so I go for a hit trying to let Frill show off, and I get hit hard by a stab water move. That was a bad loss. I actually wanted to use Frill. I haven't used a Frill before. But sometimes it's not meant to be. Our fourth gym. Now, this one here, I didn't really have the best counters for it. But I decided to lead with Drainer, who has Moonblast to super effective kill most of the Pokemon. So I leave with Drainer. Drainer Moonblast the Hitmontop, which is a 2-shot kill, but counter does nothing because I didn't use a physical move. He then brings out Pongoro, who gets 1-shot by a Moonblast. Then Surfetch. Now this Surfetch actually gave me more problem than I thought it was going to give me, I'll be honest. Because he doesn't really look like something that would give me much difficulty. That Protect put a massive problem in my strategy. Alright, so I'm at +1 special attack, and he's about to bring out her ace. She sends out her Machamp, and the final fight here is on. I max Starfall, hoping to one-shot the Machamp, and she Dynamaxes. I hit first, taking out most of the Machamp's health, and she hits a max strike. And if you notice there was a speed drop. At the time, I didn't notice that speed drop, and I was outsped and Drainer was killed. That loss sucked. That was something that I should have been paying attention to, but I was distracted on the stream. I shouldn't have lost Drainer there, but it was just my mistake. next we have our third Bede battle, and I bet you know what's coming up next. Homie goes out and spams Fury Cutter once again for the clean sweep of Bede's team. I'm starting to think this dude needs to think before he fights me. Alrighty guys, time for our 5th gym, Opal. Now, with Opal here, I had no idea what I was going to do to counter her. My plan for Opal was to use Drainer again for another gym, because Drainer's poison type would win against Opal's team. Without Opal, I opted to use Hermie, the machine. I set up my Stealth Rock first off the bat, because Stealth Rock is very useful. I gave him leftovers to heal each turn. And against Wheezing, I opted for the classic Fury Cutter spam. You can see that if I continue with that damage, it was not going to go well. But the good thing about Fury Cutter is each time I use it, it gets stronger. So we build up the power behind Fury Cutter, and we keep Fury Cutting the Wheezing until he drops. I was getting a bit low here, which is a bit worrying. It puts me below half health, but I come just back above it a little bit when the Wheezing falls. After the Wheezing, I had a better chance against the rest. It brings out Togekiss, which is hit by Stealth Rock hard and dies to one Rock Slide. From there, I heal back some health for free, and she brings out Marwile. Now, Marwile is a Fairy Steel type, meaning it's actually weak to ground. So, I Dynamax and use Max Quake, which boosts my special defense even more. Hermie's looking pretty buff at the moment, I'll give you that. Max Quake ends the Marwile, and I'm buffed even more. She then brings out her Alcremie. And I'll tell you one thing. This Alcremie is annoying. I go with a Max Rockfall off the bat to set up a Sandstorm as well, as I don't take damage from Sandstorm, but Alcremie would. One Max Rockfall almost takes it out, leaving her almost dead. She does a G-Max Finale, which actually heals her, but it doesn't heal enough to make it much of a problem for me. The next turn, Homie ends it. This was the 5th gym and is the end of part 2. Part 1. I did enjoy making this, and I have the second gameplay already done. I just have to do the editing. I hope it won't take me as long as it took me to do this editing, but I do enjoy everyone that watches, and thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe.